Every great story starts with a crazy idea. And this is the story about building an entire startup in just 96 hours. Not just product, but everything. The website, the marketing, and even getting paying customers, all in just 4 days.
Day one in building a startup in just 4 days. So we decided to fly down to Barcelona, meet here, lock ourselves in for 4 days, and build this thing.
November 2024. A house just outside Barcelona. 3 team members on site, 1 remote, and 1 seemingly impossible deadline. Let's go back to a month or so. We're sitting at a cafe or Soho House or something, having a cup of coffee. We come up with this idea. It started with a simple observation. As someone who makes videos and podcasts, I noticed something frustrating. We spend a lot of time on not building what we're good at, like content. Instead, we write all these texts. We spend just a lot of time building show notes, descriptions, keywords, social posts. Literally, could be several hours for everything you do. What if AI could handle all this? Not just a simple automation, but rather something that learned from your style, learned how you write. Could a product actually do that? Idea is simple. Execution, as always, a little harder. First, we need the right team. Hassan, our developer and AI expert, will work from the top floor.
So I've been building stuff for a very long time. And when you do that, you start becoming a little too perfectionist, I would say. Yeah. Obviously, it's important to just release.
Levin would handle marketing and design from the living room. Joining remotely from Stockholm, Staffan, our growth expert with a unique approach to building a community.
I have a guy that I constantly, daily work with. He, is the only one who has cracked the Reddit algorithm.
This is not in the video for sure.
Yeah. So we're going to get a ton of upvotes.
But before we write a single line of code, we need to validate the idea. Was this really something people would pay for? So we did a little bit of validation before, talked to creators and so on. And we're going to bring someone on here. And then we're going to see if it actually works.
I think that if it's done right, it can be a very useful product, because there's something that a lot of creators don't have. There's a lot of tools that are being made right now that are kind of just extensions of ChatGPT.
We want to build a product where you just put in the video, put in the podcast, and then out comes all the text. We're calling it Just Release.
Day 1, 96 hours on the clock. The first challenge, building a system that could understand content from both YouTube and podcasts.
So now we're inputting things in 3 different, not even formats, but 3 different entire things, which is the RSS feed of a podcast, and the Apple podcast feed of a podcast, or a link to an Apple podcast, and a link to your YouTube channel.
But even simple things can become complicated when you race against the clock.
I had this, as Trump would call it, this beautiful file that had all the crazy algorithms to do all of this. If you post any link, it needs to figure out the right one, all of that. And then I ran a single AI command to help me with the coding, and it just deleted the entire file. And usually, you can undo or something. No, that thing was gone.
By the end of day 1, we had a simple system going, but would it really be enough? Day 2 of 4 in building a software startup. So, Hassan, what's going on and what have you been up to? Day 2 brought us the first major breakthrough. The system wasn't just processing content, it was actually learning from it.
And then I start doing some background, let's just call it processing. And it's not just processing per episode, it's actually taking into account the fact that we have all the episodes. And then This was the Just Learn title. It was 7 Keys to Global Remote Team Success.
That's very YouTube-y.
Yeah, very.
Okay. So I know that doesn't seem much, but in addition to all of this stuff, that's what we were able to generate, and the quality was, as promised, really, really high.
But something unexpected was happening on the marketing front. Staffan's strategy was working even better than we had expected.
The post has been alive for an hour. We've gained 3,000 views, and it's also it's completely free. If you were to translate that to Google Ads or Reddit ads, it would start to be expensive. We woke up this morning. I know Staffan had been working late last night, and it's holy crap, it's 64 people already. And now we have a waiting list of, hold on here, 85 people that say they want to try this product. Day 3 started with excitement. The wait list was growing, the AI was working, then came the YouTube problem.
So basically in August 2024, today I went through a whole history lesson with YouTube. They started cracking down on downloaders or scrapers or whatever the heck you want to call it, right?
Unfortunately, this wasn't just a small setback. Without a proper YouTube integration, this product just wouldn't work.
Everything works perfectly on podcast and RSS, like literally perfectly, right? But the moment we hit YouTube, it just goes nuts.
The team had 3 options: find a solution fast, delay the launch, or drop YouTube support entirely. None of the options were good, and we only have 48 hours left.
These YouTube files or like video files are really, really big when you're doing a new release. Yeah, so having to like upload a 6 gig file is pretty nuts, when in reality, all I really need is the audio, at least for what we're doing now. So we came up with this idea of like, what if we can just have the file in your browser and then transform it into audio and then upload that?
Day 4 of building a startup in just 4 days. We got the product out, now mostly done.
Then something unexpected happened.
Look, we're on the homepage of IndieHackers.
We had made it to the front page of IndieHackers, a major breakthrough for a 3-day-old startup. Day 4 brought some great news and an unexpected recognition. We had made it to the homepage of IndieHackers. This brought another wave of signups to our waitlist, but also increased the pressure to deliver something worthy of the attention. We got an article on IndieHackers. We posted there and got some likes and stuff. That's kind of cool. The website is actually really quite far now. We have a logo. It looks nice. It's a good landing page. The final day was now split between 4 critical areas: stabilizing the core technology, building the payment system, refining AI outputs, and testing. A lot of testing. But would anyone actually pay for this? Sure, the waiting list has grown to over 100 people, but that's not the same as a paying customer. Hassan had been sort of running all of this on his laptop. That was obviously not going to scale. But now we needed to move all of this onto production servers. With hours remaining, the team had to move everything to production servers, set up the payment system, and prepare the waiting list to be sent.
Because I needed to provision the entire like live actual servers, because everything was running locally on my machine. But obviously, like, that's not going to help anyone if it's not actually on the web.
After 96 intense hours, thousands of lines of code, more coffee than anyone can imagine, we launched. And then. So we spent 4 days building this product. And when we finally set the waiting list out to people, 2 people actually went in and paid. I mean, that is pretty cool, right? Yes, incredible. We got 2 paying customers. But that wasn't the end of the story. 2 months later, without any additional marketing.
The data's a little outdated. I think we're at 4 now.
We're at 4. Okay, there you go. So this was right after, right? So now we are up to 4 people paying, which is incredible, right? Looking back, what did we learn from launching a product in just 96 hours? The power of constraints. Having only 4 days forces us to make decisions quickly. Something you should always do when you're building a startup, because you have constraints much more than you think. Balance between building and buying solutions. Honestly, anything you can buy, any API you can use, do it. The value of diverse teams with complementary skills. This is key. Hassan can do certain things, Levin can do other things, I can do other things, and we had Staffan helping us too. What started as a crazy challenge proved something important. With the right team, clear focus, and a little bit of madness, you can build something meaningful in just 96 hours. The question isn't whether it's possible. The question is, are you willing to try? This was just incredible fun. Building is so amazing. Now stop watching, go build something.